How's it going, everybody? My name is Philip, and today we're going to be reacting to the 5 worst football disasters in history. Recently, I've just watched the Hillsborough disaster between Liverpool and Nottingham Forest. Probably not. I don't know why that was the first team that came to mind, or the second team technically, but I know it was basically Liverpool fans and everything that happened between there. But I don't know much of other disasters other than the Manchester United plane crash, like the early century, probably about 100 years ago now, maybe. Those are about really the only 2 that I've ever heard of, or that I know of. I mean, they're in recent years, I guess, when France was bombed. I'm not 100% sure if a bomb went off in a stadium during one of the games. But I'm just trying to think. I don't necessarily know a whole hell of a lot of disasters that's happened in the history of football, which is kind of, I mean, it's a good thing, because I mean, obviously that means there hasn't, as far as I know, there's probably a lot actually. I was about to say it's a good thing because that means there hasn't been a lot. But that just means that I haven't heard of a lot. There could be like over 100, like over a couple hundred, and I just never heard of any of them. So I'm educating myself today on at least the 5 worst disasters in football history. So it's going to be interesting to see what some of these disasters are. I do think that the Liverpool one is going to be in it 100%. I kind of hope that they touch on the one between Liverpool and Juventus. I kind of hope they touch on that. I did see another video on it that I was going to watch between. It was like why English teams are banned from Europe or something like that. So I do plan on watching that in a little bit, a couple days or whenever. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure. I still need to watch more Messi and more Ronaldo and Ronaldinho. Ibrahimovic, Haaland. I mean, there's just so many good players out there that I need to just watch more of and react to. Ronaldo, regular Ronaldo, not Cristiano Ronaldo. I actually feel like I don't see anything from him. I know that he's been retired for quite a while, but obviously, other than like the hair right here, I feel like I don't know much about that Ronaldo, the Brazilian Ronaldo. But I'm interested to learn about these disasters. So let's check them out.
And welcome to Football Daily, where today we're looking at 5 of the worst disasters in football history. The Busby Babes. In 1958, legendary manager Matt Busby was bringing his Manchester United team home from a European Cup tie against Red Star Belgrade when tragedy struck. Their plane had stopped at Munich to refuel, but on departure the runway was icy and takeoff was aborted twice. On the 3rd attempt, the plane failed to get up to speed and skidded through slush at the end of the runway, hitting a tree and a house, with a wing and part of the fuselage shearing off.
Okay, so my one question on that. I understand that they needed to get back home and whatever, but my main question on that one is, if you had to delay takeoff twice, like, was the weather gonna get worse throughout the week and they couldn't fly out the next day? That's my thing. I just feel like, and obviously this is the 50s, so it's definitely, things have changed and yeah. But I just feel like safety is obviously number 1 priority, and they had to delay it twice. So why not just wait an extra day? Maybe wait until things clear up. But I mean, if it takes a couple days for things to clear up enough to be able to take off, then maybe try and take a bus to somewhere where you can take off. I don't know. And maybe Munich was the only place they were able to take off. I don't know, but
United goalkeeper Harry Gregg and the pilot began evacuation, dragging survivors from the wreckage, fearful that the plane would explode. In all, 23 of the 44 crew, footballers and journalists on board died, and another 2 were so badly injured that they never played again. Bobby Charlton survived, and so did Busby, though he was in such a bad way that he was twice read his last rites. The crash will always be remembered for the appalling loss of life and the end of a promising generation of players. The Heysel disaster. The 1985 European Cup final at the Heysel Stadium in Brussels was expected to be a great game. Liverpool had Ian Rush and Kenny Dalglish leading the line, while Juventus were captained by the great Gaetano Scirea and had one of the world's best players in Michel Platini. Unfortunately, the stadium was in awful condition, with some fans able to kick holes in an outer wall to get in. Fans of the two teams were separated only by a chain-link fence, and soon rocks were thrown and fighting began. The Juventus supporters moved towards a perimeter wall to escape the projectiles, but as they began to climb over it to safety, the wall collapsed. 39 people died and more than 600 were injured. In the aftermath, all English clubs were banned from European competition for 5 years.
Yo, was this the one that was mentioned in the previous video? Damn.
While 14 fans were convicted of manslaughter, along with several UEFA officials and a police captain. The Bradford City fire. Bradford City had played at the Valley Parade Ground for more than 80 years by 1985,
Aren't they like a third
and the
tier
main stand was in
team?
dire need of renovation. It had a wooden roof, and gaps between the seats allowed litter to fall into the space below the stand, meaning a dropped cigarette could start a fire.
Damn.
On the 11th of May, Bradford fans were in jubilant mood as their side was presented with the 3rd Division trophy prior to kickoff. 5 minutes before half-time, the TV commentator reported that a small fire had broken out, but the wind rapidly whipped up the blaze.
Ooh.
Smoke filled the stand, and fans tried to get away via the pitch and emergency exits. But locked doors and turnstiles slowed the evacuation, and though the fire brigade arrived just 7 minutes after smoke was first noticed, 56 people died. More than 250 more were injured, and the event is still the worst fire disaster in the history of British football.
Wow.
However, the courage of those present saved many lives, as 28 police officers and 22 civilians received bravery awards for their selfless actions.
Wow.
Hillsborough. The UK's most notorious football disaster, Hillsborough has been a shadow on Liverpool Football Club since 1989. Selected as a neutral venue for the FA Cup semi-final between Liverpool and Nottingham Forest, the stadium's outdated turnstiles caused dangerous crowding outside.
Okay, I was right on it. Them playing Nottingham Forest, Nottingham. Listen, y'all English have some weird ways of saying your names. You know, there's Tottenham, and then it's not Nottingham. So it's like y'all confusing us Americans over here. You know, we want to say Tottenham, but y'all say no, it's Tottenham, and then y'all say Nottingham. So the fuck, I don't know why I'm making it sound like I'm a bit country, but like what the fuck, y'all confusing us.
The stadium. Police Chief Superintendent David Duckenfield opened one of the stadium's exit gates to allow supporters in, but failed to assign any officers to watch it, and fans went through into already overcrowded standing pens. A crush followed, and 96 people were killed, with over 700 injured. Authorities blamed the fans, altering more than 150 eyewitness statements to remove criticism of the police. And the Sun
the horse
newspaper
just knocked
even
someone
claimed
over.
that Liverpool supporters had picked the pockets of the dead. But in 2012, an inquiry finally concluded that the lack of police control was responsible for the deaths, leading to apologies from David Cameron, South Yorkshire Constabulary, and former Sun editor Kelvin Mackenzie. The Lima National Stadium disaster. The worst stadium disaster in football history occurred in the Estadio Nacional in Lima, Peru in 1964. The national team faced a crucial Olympic qualifier against Argentina, and after going a goal down, had an equaliser controversially disallowed 2 minutes from time. A fan ran onto the field and was brutally beaten by the police, further riling up an already restless crowd. Others tried to reach the pitch, and the police responded by firing tear gas grenades into their midst. Supporters ran for the exits, but they were shuttered during games, and 328 people were asphyxiated or crushed to death. And that number may even be low, as fans outside the stadium found themselves in a battle with the police, and many witnesses claim to have seen people dying of gunshot wounds. To this day, the full story of the Lima catastrophe remains hazy, but without doubt it was a dark day for Peru and for football, an ugly footnote in the history of the beautiful game.
Wow. Okay. So he actually went through that really quickly. But for one, the fire was kind of crazy. This last one was kind of insane. Like, my gosh. For one, there's just something about Liverpool. It's like So I know that there's a massive rivalry between Manchester United and Liverpool. So I want to know, did all this happen after Liverpool started their chants and jeers about Manchester United's airplane crash? Because if that's the case, like all this starts happening after they start, chanting and basically making fun of Manchester United and whatnot. It kind of serves them right. As much as I hate to say it, because you never want to see people die at a sporting event. Because there's more sports than just football. There's basketball, baseball, American football, hockey, rugby. Cricket. There's just so many sporting events that, no matter what, you go to try to enjoy a match, right? And you should hopefully be able to get home safely, or go to the pub safely, or go wherever your next destination is safely, without having to worry about if you're going to get shot or stabbed or caught on fire or asphyxiated. I don't know why that was such a difficult thing to say. That is terrible. It's one of those things where, especially with this last one, I kind of get why they closed the doors, but I guess because of the time period, like they don't really have emergency exits. There's not really an evacuation plan if something goes wrong. And I'm sure that things have changed now so that there's an emergency exit. There's ways out, once things go crazy and a bit haywire. It's like, okay, these are the exits. This is where you go to. I'm not trying to be like a flight attendant. Exits are out this way, in the back and in the front. And but I'm sure, like, it sucks that these things have to happen in order for people to wake up and finally basically, come up with ways to make sure that people can either evacuate at a better rate to get out of the stadium, to make sure that proper attendance goes into a game, like with the Hillsborough, even though it seems like the amount that had tickets probably got in or whatnot. Security's getting boosted, making sure the stadiums are up to par with basically making sure you can't kick a wall down to get inside a match. That right there is kind of insane. I'm sure that even with the very first one with the airplane crash, that also, due to that, now there's more awareness or something that's helped with how we view whether it's weather, or if it's too icy, don't go. If it's too this or that, I think we're gonna have to cancel the flight, postpone it, do whatever. Again, it's ridiculous that things like that have to happen in order for us to make a change, So, hopefully everyone's staying safe. I know there's a lot of craziness in this world right now. So hopefully everyone's staying safe and healthy. And thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for joining me on this. It's insane to think about. And subscribe for more content just like this. I've been doing a lot more football related stuff. MLS has started recently, as you can see behind me. I brought my Earthquakes jersey out. Wasn't the best start, but I mean, it is what it is. But I don't know. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next time.